Silver Dollar City is an 1880s theme park located in Branson, Missouri, right alongside Table Rock Lake. It houses 7 roller coasters, a total of around 40 rides, is home to a bunch of shows, a fantastic cave tour, some great views, good food, fun shows, and overall it is a fantastic experience. It's probably the best themed park in America outside of Universal or Disney. There are areas where you're walking around here where it seriously feels like you stepped back in time. I've had the wonderful opportunity of visiting Silver Dollar City on many occasions. I first went in 2016, and I've tried to go back every other year if I can. And I tell you, the more I visit this place, the more I like it. It's really a park that's grown on me over the years. So in this review, I'm going to be walking through the entire experience. I'm going to talk about what you need to know, some tips for visiting, and overall what you should expect, especially if you've never been here before. Now, a little bit of history. The whole reason why this park exists is because of what is called the Marvel Cave. It is located directly under Silver Dollar City. At the time, all it was a cave tour. They did that for several decades, and then in 1960, the Hershens opened up a little village they called Silver Dollar City, offered a blacksmith shop, a little town square, general store, that kind of thing. And as it grew in popularity, they started adding rides and attractions, and it's grown into what it is today. So now that you know that, absolutely, the thing that you got to do when you come to Silver Dollar City is check out this Marvel Cave. I gained a whole new appreciation for this park after I experienced it. The entrance is located right there in the main gift shop, and you walk all the way down hundreds of feet below the ground. There are multiple rooms. It just blows your mind when you realize that there's a theme park located on top of this place. Just a heads up, I mean, it is a cave tour, so you will need to be in a physically fit condition to be able to do it. It also will take some time, which is partially why I recommend doing Silver Dollar City for more than one day. There's enough to do here that you don't have to worry about getting bored. There's plenty to walk around and see. On my last visit to Silver Dollar City, we were there for 3 straight days, and I loved it. So I want to talk about several things. First, let's get into the roller coasters because they really do have a phenomenal roller coaster collection. Their top 2 alone is one of the best 1-2 punches in the world. Time Traveler, world's first Mach Rides extreme spinning coaster, vertical drop out of the station, multiple inversions and launches. Outlaw Run, first ever wooden coaster to go upside down 3 times, really changed what people thought wooden roller coasters could do. And then you also have Powder Keg, a really weird and wonky ride with a crazy history. Wildfires, B&M's sit-down coaster with a gorgeous backdrop. The location might be the best thing about this attraction. Of the big 4, this is probably the one that I'm most kind of about. Like, it's fine, but I just love the setting. It's so cool. This is very much a terrain park, so every single ride here hugs the hillside. And so as a result, be prepared to do some walking because you're going to be going up and downhill. The layout of Silver Dollar City is not straightforward. There are tons of nooks and crannies, which is great. I mean, it really is a discovery experience. You can just allow yourself to get lost here, and you'll always discover something new. I've been to this park multiple times, and sometimes I still get turned around. It took me a while to really figure out the layout of this place. Here's a tip that really helped me. If you find yourself going downhill, you're heading to the back of the park. If you're walking uphill, you're making your way towards the front. Once I figured that out, it was a lot easier to get my bearings. But I do gotta say, brace yourself for that Midtown section because that is a brutal uphill walk. So getting back to the rides, I'm not gonna go too in depth with much of the other roller coasters here. I mean, I have full reviews of each of these rides on this channel, so I encourage you to go check those out if you haven't seen them yet. But Silver Dollar City is not just home to great roller coasters. They have a lot else as well, including an S&S Scream and Swing. That's over by Outlaw Run. There's a log flume by Wildfire called American Plunge. I did that for the first time this past summer. That was cool, very well themed. Mystic River Falls was their new for 2020 attraction. It's a new river rafting experience that includes a spiral lift and a completely elevated section with this big drop at the end. It looked great. I was very excited to do it. I went right after it opened, and unfortunately, the 3 days I was at Silver Dollar City, it was closed the entire time. I guess they're having some technical issues with it. So, I mean, next time I'll be sure to go check it out. I mean, it's fine. I heard they got a big shark problem there anyway, so I'll wait for them to figure that out. Couple other attractions I want to highlight. Be sure to check out the train while you're here. Much like the train at Dollywood, this is not a transportation attraction. So it doesn't drop you off somewhere else in the park. It's just got the one station. Think of it like a show. It takes you up the mountain. It stops about halfway. They bring out some actors. There's a guy that comes out, tries to rob the place. And it's interactive. They'll ask you, hey, give me your money. When they came up to me and asked if I had any gold, I passed them my gold Six Flags membership, and as you can imagine, that was a funny reaction. I got some gold.
You got some gold?
Six Flags gold membership.
Six Flags? I don't even talk about that place.
So it's very experience-based. It's cool because Silver City is completely surrounded by trees. It's located in the Ozark Mountains. So when you're on this train, you just feel like you go so far back there. And I think those trees also really kind of add to the individual ride experiences because it makes it hard to see some of these roller coasters when you're actually in the park. I mean, the best view you're going to get of Outlaw Run is from the train. But when you're there at the ride entrance, I mean, the only thing you can really see is the lift hill and the brake run. Powder Keg and Thunderation, you can see even less of. Another attraction I'll mention is the Flooded Mine. This is a very old school shooting dark ride. It's also a water ride. You get in this little boat, you don't get wet, you just shoot the different animatronics, see who gets the highest score. It's cool. I think if I did have a big critique for Silver Dollar City, I'd love to see a modern day, much better dark ride. Because as neat as this ride is, you can just tell it's one of the older attractions in the park, and I'd love to see them take a stab at a modern day dark ride, just because of how far technology has come. And the last ride I'll mention actually isn't really a ride, it's kind of a walkthrough actually. This is Grandfather's Mansion. Now because of COVID, it is currently closed, but when it reopens, I definitely recommend checking this out. It's one of the only funhouse walkthroughs at a park in America. These just don't exist like they do in other parts of the world. So those are the different attractions that I'll go through. I did want to talk about the food because when you visit most amusement parks, I mean, the food isn't like a big draw, but not here at Silver Dollar City. Everything you try here is going to be great, but I do have a few recommendations I'll go through. There's a new barbecue place by Mystic River Falls. I tried that out this summer, got a plate of ribs, and oh my gosh, it was incredible. You can also find some skillet locations. Those are great. There's grilled cheese over by Time Traveler. You can get some different variations of a grilled cheese sandwich, like with barbecue sauce or something. Everything here is delicious. But if I did have one thing that I have to say you gotta try when you come to the park, of course I'm talking about the cinnamon bread. If you've been to Dollywood and the grist mill there, this is the same type of thing, but there is a slight difference. Silver Dollar City offers toppings on their cinnamon bread, and it is fantastic. I decided to try the one out that had apple on it. That was great. They also had a peach flavor, and I think there was one more. These things are deadly. Highly recommend. Now, depending on when you go to Silver Dollar City, you might get a different experience. I mean, much like Dollywood, this park has different festivals and events going on throughout the year. There's two in particular I want to mention. One is Moonlight Madness. This goes on during the summer, and it's one of the times of year where Silver Dollar City is open late, which means night rides. This is huge because if you get the chance to do Time Traveler and Outlaw Run at night, they're some of the best night rides you'll ever get. The only night ride in the world that I said I liked more than Outlaw Run at night is The Voyage. And just in general, Silver Dollar City has a very cool atmosphere at night, and there's one heck of a fireworks show too. The other big event that I want to shout out is Silver Dollar City's An Old Time Christmas. Now, I've been going to Smoky Mountain Christmas for years, so I was very excited to see what they did here, and let me just say, they did not disappoint. The Christmas in Midtown section alone blew my mind. I think they said something like there were over 2 million lights in that area alone. It is crazy. Probably the most Christmas lights I've ever seen at one park. And much like Moonlight Madness, of course, the park is open late, and night rides on Outlaw Run in the cold are something else. So, in conclusion, Silver Dollar City is a great park. Everything is just so immersive. I mean, frankly, the entire park feels like one big themed area, which is one of the main differences that separates it from Dollywood, where you have some distinct sections. I mean, really, the only section here that I'd say has a different feel than everything else is Fireman's Landing, which is a spectacular kids area, by the way. But the flow from one section to another is just so flawlessly done. It just keeps you in the immersion the entire time. There's lots of places throughout the park where they have these troughs carrying water from one area to another. There's waterfalls, just different props and theming elements lying around. I mean, there is not an inch that went untouched here. And in general, you know, the customer service here is top notch. It's a Hirsch-End park. They know how to treat people right here. Everyone is extremely friendly and just leaves you walking away feeling good. You had a great day and now you just want to come back for more. So if you get the chance, I highly recommend a visit to Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri. But I'd love to hear from you guys what you think of this park, if you agree with the different points I've mentioned. And of course, if you're new to the channel, I'd love if you could subscribe. We have park reviews from places all across the world. They're all located in a playlist organized in alphabetical order, so please go check that out. And of course, stay tuned for more here at Coaster Studios, and I'll see you next time.